Okay, William, come. William needs a sock there.
Good morning. So as you just saw, I have just cooked everybody egg and bacon for breakfast this morning, and we had a bit of sourdough bread with that. But I have just been on a really restrictive diet for the past 3 months, so I'm really enjoying being able to eat a bit of sourdough bread again. I went on the carnivore diet. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's a very restrictive diet. And I did that because I had certain health issues that I wanted to improve. And on that diet, you can literally only eat meat and dairy. I mean, some people don't even eat dairy, but I did eat some dairy towards the end. Yeah, it definitely helped clear up a lot of my health issues that I was having. But at this time of year, with all the lovely foods that are about, you know, I just had to stop. So I did my 90 days on the carnivore diet, and then I thought I'll have a break, go back to eating some nice food, not processed foods, just foods that I make myself from scratch, and see how I feel. And I would say I generally feel okay, but I am a bit more tired since I've come off the carnivore diet, and my IBS is not as good as it was when I was on the carnivore diet. When I was on the carnivore diet, my IBS practically disappeared. So I am going to go back on the carnivore diet in a few days. I'm just giving myself about a week of eating some extra foods, just because I love this season and I love cooking and I love my sourdough bread. But yeah, I am going to go back on it for another 30 days. Something good that happened when I was on the carnivore diet that I wasn't expecting was that I lost some weight. I lost over a stone without even trying. I didn't limit the amount I ate. I always ate when I was hungry, and I tried to keep my fat ratio really high, because if you don't, then you will get constipated. So my percentage of fat was around 80%, sometimes higher. So it seems weird, doesn't it, eating that much fat? I mean, I had tons of lamb, that's so really fatty, you know, lamb chops and Barnsley chops, yum, and fatty ribeyes, and lots of clotted cream I would eat, lots of butter, and yeah, eating all that fat and feeling really full, eating as much as I wanted whenever I wanted, and losing over a stone without even trying, you know, no exercise. I lost over 5 inches off my tummy, which is shocking to me because I have obviously got some kind of body dysmorphia. You know, most people have body dysmorphia where they see themselves as really fat when they're not. I have the opposite thing. When I didn't realise I was that fat at all. I had no idea. But I must have been to have lost that much. Yeah, very happy with that. And now that that's brought attention to my weight and my size, I do feel like it would be good to lose a bit more weight. It would just, you know, be a bit more healthy. So yeah, I think I'm going to go another couple of days on not the carnivore diet, and then go back on it for at least 30 days. And then I'll probably come off again around Christmas time, because as I say, I love my food. I love cooking, and I'm not ready to go through Christmas without any Christmas cake and stuff like that. So I've already made the Christmas cake that is maturing as we speak. Some other benefits that I got on the carnivore diet that I had no idea I was going to get were my sleep. I could actually sleep so well, and actually that is not so good now I've come off the carnivore diet again, but I would sleep like a baby. Absolutely wonderful. I have my Garmin that I wear, and it tells me my what's it called, it gives you a score for your sleep. And when I was on the carnivore diet, it was around 90 out of 100 for how good my sleep was, and now we're back down to like 45. So it makes a huge difference. And what else? Oh yeah, so I would sleep really well, and then I would wake up quite early in the morning, 5:30, 6, 7, around, in the summer it was a bit earlier, it was about 5:30, now probably about 7. But not only would I wake up early, but I would be dying to get out of bed. I'd have loads of energy, want to get on with things, which is very unusual for me, because usually it takes me a bit of time to wake up, and you know, I'm a bit sluggish at first in the mornings. But on the carnivore diet, lots of energy, and I didn't have my brain fog anymore. 0 BO on the carnivore diet, which is weird, but I guess if you're not having all the vegetables and grains fermenting in your system, you're not emitting that smell. And 0 gas, 0 bloating. So it's got so many benefits, on top of curing any sort of health condition. Now, the main reason that I went on the carnivore diet was because I was pretty convinced that I was becoming type 2 diabetic. I had every single symptom, and I had a couple of really horrible hypoglycemic attacks, really scary, nasty things. So I wanted to go on the carnivore diet, reset my sugar levels or whatever, insulin, all that stuff. Yeah, for the first 3 days on that diet, I was really just angry. I felt so angry, and I think that was because of the sugar cravings. After the 3 days, I calmed down a lot, and after 3 weeks, I would say, I no longer had any cravings for anything. Absolutely none. You know, like my children would eat cakes and sweets in front of me and stuff, and I would not have any desire to have it at all. So that was good to get rid of all the cravings. So another one of my symptoms, like I said, I had all the symptoms of type 2 diabetes, and one of the symptoms was to do with my feet. They were like getting really sort of hard and cracked on the heels, and I had this condition, sounds a bit weird, where just underneath where my toes are, I had these kind of like blisters coming up constantly, and they had pus in, and they would pop, and then I'd have more come up somewhere else on my foot, and it just kept going on, and it was so painful. Sometimes I couldn't even stand on that foot because it was just on the one foot, and it was like really itching, burning, just horrible. And I tried so many different things. I tried antifungal creams, coconut oil, castor oil. I tried moisturising my feet. I tried keeping them dry with talc. I tried all different things for months and months. This started in January, and so that was the absolute last straw for me, where I thought, no, I have to do something about this. And then I discovered the carnivore diet and thought that I'm going to do that, because the carnivore diet cures everything. If you listen to any videos on YouTube about the carnivore diet, it can cure anything. And so I thought, I'll just do that then. Anyway, I did the carnivore diet, and like I said, it had so many benefits and it cured all the other symptoms, but it has not cured that one with my foot. So finally, after, what was it, 8 months of suffering with this condition, I went to the doctors, because I'd been Googling what could be wrong with my foot for ages and I could not work out what it was. Anyway, went to the doctors, which is very, very, very unusual for me. I hate going to the doctors, but I did. I was just at the end of my tether. And they said that I have a condition called, I can't even remember now. I can't remember what it's called now. I'll look it up. Hang on, where's my phone? Oh, right, I found it. It's called I don't even know how you say it. I know it's good, isn't it? Pompholics, I think it is. Pompholyx. And it's a type of eczema, I believe. And there's no cure, and it's a long-term thing. And so, yeah, the carnivore diet hasn't got rid of that. It may do if I carried on with it, and it may do if I would have gone on the lion diet, as they call it, which is where you literally only have beef or lamb, salt and water. That is it. That you cannot have any dairy or anything else. And if you stick to that, that literally will cure pretty much anything. So that will probably cure it, but I'm not ready to deal with that yet. But my foot is a lot better than it was. So maybe if I just stuck to what I was doing for longer, would eventually have been cured. But anyway, that is a little update on my diet and health. The reason I started saying all that is just because I am about to make my sourdough bread now. This might be the last lot of sourdough bread that I'm going to have before I'm back on the carnivore diet. So I thought I would share with you how I make my sourdough bread, because it is so simple. A lot of people are intimidated by it, but it's not hard at all. I'm going to show you how easy it is. Right, so as I said, this sourdough bread's really easy. You just need some bread flour. I've got this organic bread flour here, your sourdough starter and some sea salt, and obviously a bit of water. Also, if you have been on the carnivore diet, let me know in the comments below how you got on with it, and if you're thinking about it or you've got any questions, again, let me know in the comments below and I will get back to you. Right, so we need a key. This is for 2 loaves of the sourdough bread. So if you want to make just one, then do half this. But I use a kilo of bread flour, then we need 200 grams of sourdough starter. Now I don't have a specific time that I feed the starter. I think the starter gets fed when you pour it into the bread mixture anyway, so I don't think you need to be too fussy about how recently you fed your starter. I use mine regularly anyway, so I think it's pretty much always fed. And I always feed it with, a 1-to-1 ratio of flour and water. So 650 grams of water. So that's 250. 650. Now you can easily mix this up by hand, and often I do, but today I'm just going to use the KitchenAid just to be lazy. But you don't really need to knead it that much, you just need to mix it together. And you also need to add about a heaped teaspoon, a heaped tablespoon of sea salt. And while that's mixing away, this is the time that I feed my sourdough starter, because I'm actually thinking about it and I've got the flour out. So if I don't do it now, then I'll forget and I won't end up doing it. So I'm just going to use a half cup of the flour and a half cup of the water. Give it a mix, and then that's ready to use the next time I need it. Now the next stage that we're on to is the stretch and fold. So what we want to do is we want to leave this for half an hour. Yeah, we leave it for half an hour before we do the first stretch and fold. And I used to just leave it in that bowl and then do it in there. But I've since learnt that it is such a good idea to transfer it into an oiled bowl, because if you leave it in there, the bread comes out fine, but it is just such a pain to clean the dried on bread mix off of that bowl. It just takes forever. So yeah, I just find transfer it to an oiled bowl and then everything's so much easier to clean. So it really doesn't matter what you oil your bowl with, as long as you're just making it non-stick, and what's it called, non-stick. So I usually use butter or ghee or tallow or lard, and you don't taste whatever you've oiled it with anyway, I don't think. I don't notice it anyway. You can see how sticky it is and what a nightmare that would be to clean if it dried on. Even if I just put it in the dishwasher never gets it off properly anyway. So it's just best to do this, transfer it to an oiled bowl and clean it while it's as fresh as it can be. So now I'm going to cover that with a tea towel, and then in half an hour I'll show you how I do the stretch and fold, and in the meantime I'm going to wash up this bowl. So it's time to do the first stretch and fold. I have made my hand wet so that the bread dough doesn't stick to my hand as much. So you just grab a piece, stretch it, give it a wiggle, pull it over, turn it, and then again, and then all together you do that on the four corners. Now I'm going to cover it again, leave it another half an hour and repeat 2 more times. So now, before I get on with the homeschool lessons for today, I'm going to prepare some of the dinner for tonight. I'm going to be making chicken pies. So yesterday I roasted 2 chickens and I've kept 1 to make this pie with today. So the chicken's already cooked, but now I'm just going to make the pie crust and put that in the fridge so it's ready to roll out later. This pie crust that I make is absolutely divine. It's a beef tallow pie crust. We just need 2.5 cups of flour, 200 grams of beef tallow or beef dripping or lard, beef tallow and beef dripping are the same thing anyway, it's just different names. Or you could use lard, about half a cup of water, and then some salt, and that's it. So I'm going to mix that up now, roll it into 2 balls, and then wrap them up and put them in the fridge. Now, I hate using cling film or plastic wrap because, single-use plastic, and you get the microplastics and stuff. Not good, but that's what I'm using at the moment because I haven't got big enough beeswax wraps, That is something that I need to make. Making this video has just reminded me that I really must do that, and then I won't have to buy any more cling film. So anyway, let's get on with it. 2.5 cups of the flour. As you can see, I'm not particularly precise, but never mind. It all works out fine in the end, usually. Right, let's start mixing that. And then probably about, teaspoon of sea salt, and then I've cut up this beef dripping or beef tallow, and it just makes the absolute tastiest, crumbliest pastry you've ever had in your life. So that's the one I use. It's called Britannia. Okay, now that's all together, we can divide that up and put it into 2 balls. Make it into 2 balls. Right. That already feels super smooth, and after it's had a little rest in the fridge, it'll be even better to work with. Covering it in flour so it doesn't stick too much to the plastic wrap. Yeah, I genuinely hate this stuff and need to get on with making the wraps. There we go. And I'll show you how I make the pie. Well, I'm going to make 2 pies later on. I think I'm going to do chicken, bacon and leek pie tonight. So it's much later in the day now. It's a busy evening, so I'm getting the rest of the pie prepared. So I'm now preparing the pie filling. So the first thing I'm going to do is chop up some streaky bacon. Just a small amount of bacon, but it will make a big difference to the taste. So I'll fry that up first. Then I shall wash the board and knife, and then I will cut the leeks ready to go in next. So the next thing I'm going to do is just take the meat off of this chicken. I'm going to keep the skin and the bones and use that to make bone broth. So none of this chicken will go to waste. Now the bacon has cooked and the leeks have sweated a little bit, I'm going to add the chicken, and then I'll add a bit of bone broth. This is some bone broth that I made the other day. I can't open now. And I used beef bones and pig's trotters to make this bone broth, so it's very, very gelatinous and extremely good for you. So that will be making the sauce of this chicken pie. Can you see? Hang on, let me give you a close-up. Is it going to focus? Look at the wobble on that. Very gelatinous. I think that will be enough. Then I just need to season that, and then I'll leave it on a low heat for about an hour. So before I do anything else, I'm going to put the chicken carcass and the skin into a freezer bag, and then pop that in the freezer, and when I'm ready to make some bone broth, I'll be using these bones. When I make the bases of the pies, I always leave a little bit extra hanging over the edge when I trim it, because it does tend to shrink a bit, and I also just prick it all over because that also helps it to not shrink as much. And then I will put some parchment paper on top with baking beads, bake that in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for about 10 minutes. then I'll take the parchment paper and baking beads off and then just pop it back in the oven for another couple of minutes with some egg wash on, just so it's kind of sealed before the filling goes in. Otherwise you can get a soggy bottom, and we don't want a soggy bottom. So parchment paper is on there now, and then I'm just going to put a few baking beads on top. Just stops the pastry puffing up. You don't want the base to be all puffy. I used this pastry the other day to make some pies, and they were delicious. I used a minty lamb sausage meat, and what else did I think that was it. Oh, and some potato and onion. They were just amazing. I love homemade pies. So the pies have just come out of the oven now, after they've been glazed with the egg wash, and I have to run out for a few, well, about almost an hour I'll be out. Then I'll come back, put the pie together, cook it, we'll eat, and then I have to go back out again. So I have pre-rolled the top pieces of the pie and I left those in the fridge while I was out, and now I'm back. I'm just going to assemble the pies and cook them.
Oh, French salad with cheese and yeah, cheese fake. Nice. Nice in the oven. Take it open. Nice. Ooh, that's what we're having for dinner? Yep. Is it meat inside? Yep. Oh, big one. Oh, it's very nice. That's the and probably the we can snuggle there, honey. Snuggle in there. And that pastry, so nice. Remember you making before.
This pie is a big success. Everyone loves it. Now it's the end of the day and I'm just about to go to bed. That's why I'm looking a little tired now. But before I do, I'm just going to put my sourdough into two balls into the, I've forgotten the name of these, bannetons, is it bannetons? I don't know. I'm very tired. We're going to put them in here and then put them in the fridge. I'll show you. Okay, right. So let's just do it. I'm too tired to talk. So I'm going to put a bit of rice flour down because that really stops the dough from sticking to anything. Just going to divide that into two. Put that one back in there for a minute. There we go. And I'm going to plop it into the basket. I'm going to put a bit of parchment paper on the top.
Jerry?
Yeah, stars myself.
What?
Stars my Miami. Yeah. Mama is me.
way you were in her face that night was so alarming to me. I didn't want to leave her alone. When we got back to our house, she kept saying to us she didn't want to go with you, but you were already on your way to pick her up. One of her friends was packing an overnight lunch